This is one of the most innovative pedals that I've ever seen. Now, this pedal is by Black Mountain and Third Man Hardware, and it has some features that I've never seen before on a pedal. This is the new Roto Echo, and it sounds absolutely incredible. We're gonna be taking a look at this pedal and all of its features. So let's get right into it. Let's take a look at the Roto Echo. So the way that the Roto Echo works is that the wheel actually controls either three of the knobs here. So right now I'm setting the wheel to adjust the time, and it can be done with your foot over here. So all you have to do is just scroll the wheel and you're gonna get a different time of echo. So going to 0 actually reduces the echo quite a bit. But as we turn the wheel up, we get the timing of the notes in between are actually longer. So that's the time at the 10 over here. Now if we keep going lower, it's a little faster. A little faster. Faster. And all the way to the slapback. So now the wheel adjusts the time, but we have a little switch in the back here, which affects the feedback. So the amount of notes that you want feeding back. When you hit the echo, you can now adjust the amount of notes that are feeding back. So if you want it to be like forever type of thing, you can do that. But if you want it to just feed back a little bit, so only a couple echoes, then you can adjust that. And this can be done with the wheel on the fly as well. So I'm going to do that. Let's start with 0. Now the time has to be adjusted separately, because if you're wanting a specific rhythm with the delay, you have to adjust that now with the knob and make sure that that rhythm is perfectly timed before you switch to the feedback setting. Now the feedback setting can be done on the fly, which is great. Let's go through the setting of the feedback and let's see how much feedback we can get. So let's start with a 0. So that's only echoing a couple times. Now let's move this wheel. So now it's echoing about 4 or 5 times. Let's move it further. Let's go to about 5, 6. So now that's about 6, 7 times. So that's nice. Now, all of this can be done on the fly. It's just a matter of setting the pedal switch to whichever switch you want. So if you want the time to be something that you can be using on the fly, then you set the switch in the back to the time. Or if you want the feedback amount, then you set that switch to the feedback amount. And then when you're playing live or you're recording, then that wheel here is actually adjusting those settings. Now, this is kind of cool because you can adjust this on the fly. And all you have to do is turn the wheel with your foot, which is super simple. It allows you to be very creative and come up with some ideas on the spot. And this kind of like gives you some creativity as well. All right, let's go ahead and max out the feedback here and see what that sounds like. So as you can tell, it's feeding back over and over again. It's almost like an endless loop of notes. Now, if we max that out, it'll just keep going forever and ever. It actually creates a bit of feedback. So if you get to kind of bring it back down to avoid too much feedback. So that is the feedback setting. So it's really, really cool. You get some really cool options, and it's kind of like being creative on the fly. And that's what's really different about this pedal, is that it allows you to just really improvise and kind of come up with some cool stuff on the spot. Now, when we switch the back switch to the blend, now this is going to be the amount of delay that we're getting. Now we can adjust that wheel for the amount of echo that we want in our mix. So this is for only the amount of echo. Now we can adjust that on the wheel, on the fly. So this is another approach, another creative approach that you can take as well. So if you want a little bit at times, if you want more at times, now that gives you that creative option. Now this one is more customizable, and that's what's great about this pedal, is that everything is customizable live. So you don't have to be adjusting too much of your pedal, or you don't have to rely on the settings that you made ahead of time. So the thing that I like to do when I get a pedal is I try to make sure that it's also usable with acoustic. And this is what we're going to do for the next part of the video. We're going to go ahead and try to use this with an acoustic guitar. Of course, it has a pickup and a magnetic pickup as well. So it has a mic also inside in order to get some acoustic natural tones. But let's see if it sounds good with the acoustic. Okay, so now I'm going to experiment with the wheel while playing acoustic guitar. Now the wheel is set up to blend, so we're going to use the blend wheel to go in and out of more and less echo. All right, now I've adjusted the pedal to feedback, and let's see what kind of effects we can get with that. So we could get some cool effects with that as well. Now let's go on to the time. This one is going to be interesting because this one is changing the tempo of the echo. So this one is done on the fly as well. So there it is. I think we've been through all of the settings. We've tried the electric guitar, we've tried the acoustic guitar. We've now realized that this pedal is good for many different types of pickups and also different instruments. So this pedal is going to be a great creative tool. Now, this pedal does things that no other pedal does. So this allows you to be creative, and it's a design that is more for on the fly instead of programming a pedal and having the same effect every time you click on it. This one is more for a customizing effect when you're playing live. So getting some interesting and cool sounds live and on the spot. So I think this is the whole point of this pedal. So the Roto Echo really lends itself well to any kind of style as well. So if you're a blues player, if you're a rock player, you can use this pedal. So it doesn't matter what style you're playing, jazz, blues, country, fingerstyle. This pedal lends itself well to all of those styles, and it'll allow you to come up with some really cool sounds as well within those styles. So I've been through a few different styles of playing, but there's a lot more that you can do with this pedal. I believe that there's so many different sounds that are possible with this pedal. This is just me experimenting with it, and I came up with some cool sounds. But I know there's so much more that you can do with this pedal. So definitely check out the Roto Echo, check out Black Mountain, and also Third Man Hardwire for their products. And you can find this pedal in the description below. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.